Well, the election may be over, but Governor Sarah Palin is not going anywhere. Senator McCain's running mate continues to dominate headlines. Governor Palin stole the show at this week's GOP Governors Conference.
We carried with us the best of memories and joyful experiences that really do not depend at all on political victory. For years to come, I'm going to remember all the young girls who came up to me at rallies to see the first woman having the privilege of carrying our party's VP nomination, and they inspired me. With an extra hurdle or two in front of us and in front of these young girls, I feel that we've got this mutually beneficial relationship now, me and these young girls, where we're going to work harder, we're going to be stronger, we're going to do better, and one day one of them will be the president. Because in America there will be no ceilings on achievement, glass or otherwise. And if I could help point the way, point the way for these young women or inspire them to tap into their own gifts and talents and strengths, to find their own opportunities, well, it is a privilege. And I'm going to remember all the people along the way who said that they were praying for us. They were such a strength and a shield, those prayer warriors. And yes. For us, it was not our time. It was not our moment. But it is our country. And the winner will be our president, and I wish Barack Obama well. Let the pundits go on with their idle talk about the next election, what happens in 2012. Our concern should be about our state's next great reform, our next budget, our next opportunity to progress in the states that we serve. And on issues like taxes and energy and health care, immigration, education, we will not lack for opportunities to serve and to lead and to show the way.
Well, it's way early, but is the governor of Alaska now the top contender for the Republican nomination in 2012? Joining us live is Patricia Mazzei, staff writer for the Miami Herald. Patricia, so you covered this. You were down there. What was it like behind the scenes covering this?
Well, there was quite the media buzz, Greta, when Governor Palin gave a press conference on Thursday before the speech of the clip that you played. And the governors gave her a warm reception. They gave her a standing ovation before her speech and after the speech. But it was a two-day conference, and she didn't speak on the first day on Wednesday. So that day was more for some of the other GOP rising stars, including Governor Tim Pawlenty of Minnesota, Governor Charlie Crist in Florida, and Bobby Jindal of Louisiana.
Well, not that we measure necessarily, who's going to be the best president by who's got the most cameras chasing himself or herself, but when you saw those other governors walk down the hall, whether it was Tim Pawlenty or from Minnesota or Governor Crist, did they have this sort of paparazzi following them?
Governor Palin had more cameras chasing her, but Governor Crist, Governor Pawlenty had their fair share of questions regarding the future of the party, where it goes from here, and how it attracts more voters at the national level.
Did they seem to come to an idea of what they could do for their party? I mean, or was this sort of licking their wounds after what happened 8 days ago, or did they come up with an idea of what they're going to do?
The mood was a little subdued. They were reflective about what happened 8 days ago, so early after the election, but they were in agreement that the future leadership of the party would come from governors now that Republicans are no longer a majority in Congress, that they no longer control the White House. And they said, you know, we will try innovative, pragmatic ideas in our states, and hopefully that will help us win back a majority in 2010 and in 2012.
Well, while they were deciding to take over the party from those in Congress, in the Senate and the House, did they even invite any of them? I take it that they were not invited, right?
Well, I know that a couple of analysts from Congress were there, including Representative Pence. I know he spoke at a panel. But the governors did suggest that they should send someone more frequently to Washington to talk about policy ideas that are working at the state level, so that Republicans in Washington can use that when they legislate. And they talked about better communication with people in Washington about the values of the Republican Party. None of the Republican governors who were up for re-election last week lost, and they gained a seat in the gubernatorial race in Puerto Rico. So they say that that means that their values in the party are still appreciated and respected among American people at the state level, but Washington is broken, is one thing they said frequently Wednesday and Thursday.
You know, it's so interesting, Patricia. I don't remember ever the national media going to one of these Republican Governor Association meetings. Maybe they do, but I just don't ever remember. Do you know if your paper ever covered one before?
I can't say what happened at previous conferences. There was one 2 years ago here in Florida, also hosted by Governor Christ, and we obviously covered that. He was called a rock star then. But you know, Governor Palin gave the press conference, and that attracted the media, but definitely having a conference 8 days after the election, it's the perfect time to hear from these leaders about where the party is going, and that's really what people wanted to know.
Patricia, thank you, and I hope you'll come back.
Thank you so much.
The man at the center of the Troopergate scandal is reportedly being threatened, and now he has a new job. The Alaska State Trooper's office has reportedly received phone calls threatening Trooper Mike Wooten. Now he's being reassigned to the Judicial Services Bureau in Anchorage. You may remember Wooten had an ugly divorce with Governor Sarah Palin's sister. Governor Palin was accused of firing her public safety commissioner after he refused to fire the trooper. Governor Palin has been cleared of all wrongdoing in the case.